guys, it's Derry here. I'm going to do a little bit of a ramble. I don't know if it's a ramble. I don't know what this is yet. I'm still kind of trying to come up with stuff. I was just talking to my dear friend Kristen over at over Your Simple Path, and I'm hoping I think she's going to do a VR to this, but we were talking about hoodoo and Christianity and why Christianity in the world of witchcraft is such a difficult oxymoronic concept. Sorry. And she was saying how we're reading books right now. Like, she's reading one from Valerie Love on how to be a Christian witch, and I happen to be reading let me get it. This is the one that I'm reading, which is Crossroads Witchcraft by Tara Ness. And so hoodoo is kind of in our realm right now. And me being on TikTok of late and blah, 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 I'm coming up against a lot of cultural appropriation, and I'm getting real, and I know it's a thing, I understand that, I'm not poo-pooing it, I'm not saying don't, but it's become a thing now, and and I don't mean that badly, but I've come up against a lot of, you can only do hoodoo if you are black, period. It's a closed practice. Part of me can see that. But I know way too many white practitioners that practice root work, hoodoo, Appalachian granny magic. And granted, they're all different types of root work. I get that. But I guess I'm just confused. Why is Christianity such a bad or oxymoronic subject in the witchcraft? Is it because we use the Bible? Not all Christian witches use the Bible. I am one of them. I use it as a tool, but I don't religiously. It's not my be-all, end-all of my practice. I use it as a reference guide. But I think that for some practitioners, hoodoo helps you keep close to your Christian roots if you follow the Christian path. And things like mysticism and miracles and Appalachian granny magic and conjure and folk magic. And I think a lot of new witches, whether you're young, whether you're old, it doesn't matter. I think there's an abundance of books and websites and teachers and guides and mentors, and it's very overwhelming. Coming into the path of witchcraft can be extremely overwhelming. But I think a lot of today versus way back hundreds of years ago, I think a lot today gets lost in translation. Translation, not transition, translation. I'm looking over because I have notes over here because I'm trying to stay on track and not ramble, but so far it's not working. And I think that, for me at least, I think that, and this is, please God, this is just my opinion. I'm not starting a witch war. I'm not trying to do any of that. I think for me, modern technology, while it is an amazing access to witches and witchcraft today, it can also be a hindrance. It can be a huge hindrance as well, because it's there at your fingertips instead of you going and doing the actual physical, mental, and emotional work that needs to be done. I mean, witchcraft is all about your roots and what your ancestors and your guides and your guardians and, witchcraft is about work. It's not just about research. And granted, I understand there's an overwhelming abundance of books, but my feeling is that a lot of the books, because I've been practicing for 37 years, and no, I'm not tooting my own horn. I'm trying to commiserate that I get that it's overwhelming and it's confusing and there's so much to. Don't put all your ducks on books. Don't rest all of your practice on what the books say. You physically have to get out there in nature and meditate and ground and earth and learn about the herbs, learn about the earth, learn about, the herbs in your area that I may have in Pennsylvania that you may not have in California, or vice versa. Like, I am allergic to sage, but I'm going to use it as an example. I can't get sage. Well, sage is also, I can't get blue sage. White sage is a closed practice, whatever. But, I don't have access to a lot of herbs that, and luckily I have some amazing network of friends over the years that I can get herbs from because they, sell them, or, they give me their codes or whatever, but I think that if you're just going to sit and I did this, I studied I've been practicing for 37 years, and the first 10 years of my practice was really nothing but book work. I literally spent the first probably 5 to 10 years of my practice studying. And again, if studying is not for you, this may not be the path for you. I don't know. But a lot of people, I think, get confused also on Christian witchcraft because, the Bible. I use the Bible as a reference. I don't use it as the be-all, end-all. I know some witches that do use the Bible in everything that they do. That's their practice. That's just because we're Christian witches or Christian practitioners does not mean we all follow the same path. That's what I said to Kristen was, I love the fact that witchcraft is a path. It's not, it's full of plot twists, it's full of turns, it's full of, but at the end of the day, it's magic. Like for me, my relationship, as I go to church, I am a Christian witch, and yes, I do go to church. We go to a Methodist church. But honestly, I don't get much from God, quote unquote, when I am sitting in a pew, looking at the Bible, listening to the pastor preach. My strongest bond with God is when I am outside and I am wildcrafting, I am meditating, I am walking, when I'm just out in nature. That's my strongest bond with Him. I am fascinated by hoodoo. I always have been. I have studied, not at length, but I have studied hoodoo, voodoo, Santeria, Satanism, Luciferianism, and yes, there's a difference. I have studied Hinduism, Buddhism. I'm a very well-read witch, but just because I've studied them does not mean I use them. But there are a lot of practices that I can pull and take from. That's the thing about being an eclectic witch, is you can take stuff from other paths and blend it into your own. But that's what I love about witchcraft, is that it's a path. And quote-unquote Christian witchcraft is also a path. There are hundreds of Christian witches out there. But the nice thing is that we don't all practice, we're all on the same path, but our practices are all different. And that's what I think, to me, makes magic and witchcraft so amazing is that I have a lot of my fellow sister witches are Christian witches, and we have a group called the Christian Witches Roundtable on Facebook. But I love it because we all learn from each other on a daily basis. And that's what witchcraft is if you can't learn from your fellow witches, you know, I don't have a teacher. I've had many mentors through my life. Valerie Love being one, Taryn S. being another one. My friends at the Christian Witches Roundtable, I consider them my mentor, you know, and the things that we sit down and we learn from each other on a daily basis. Christian witchcraft is not evil. It's not an oxymoron. It's not, oh, just because you're Christian, you can't be a witch. That's so far from the truth, it's not even funny, because in my eyes, Jesus was one of the biggest witches you'll ever meet in your life. He was a necromancer. He was a healer. He performed miracles. It's like, but it just, I know I'm rambling. It's not making much sense to me either, but, please, I want to hear if you follow hoodoo, if you follow voodoo, if anything. I want to hear responses. I want to see videos. I want to see VRs from all my fellow witches, on your practices and what makes your practice for you so amazing. And I mean, it's like, that's the thing that I love about my friend Kristen, is the fact that she's very much a root worker. Her practice lies heavily in candle magic and root work and tarot, where mine revolves around herbs and color and light, and and it's just, but I also I can follow a darker path. I mean, my goddess is the Morrigan. For me it's balance. Jesus is my light, the Morrigan is my dark. So for me, I have to have that balance. But I guess my thing is, if I bring you joy, then that's what I'm here for. If I can help somebody and ease their path by helping them, like if I have anybody, it doesn't matter if you're a young witch, an old witch, a new witch, and a seasoned witch, if I can help you in any way with a question that you have, then that's my purpose. But for me, Christian witchcraft is just who I am. It's just, it's not evil to me. It's not an oxymoron. And I think that, hoodoo today is not what it was when it first started, because again, a lot gets lost in translation, is we don't have a lot of the books and the ancestors and the mentors, because they're not alive anymore. It's, our ancestors have passed on, and we can't all access our ancestors right off the bat. So what do you do in the meantime? Because I've read several hoodoo books that are very conflicting. One says this, another says this, and you get that with whatever books you read. But I guess my thing is, I wish a lot of books today would not, and a lot of the basis of witchcraft is, oh, you have to have an altar. You have to have it this way, and you have to have this candle on this day, and if you're going to do a working, you have to have this color candle on this moon phase and this day, and fuck that. That's what I tell a lot of my people that come to me. Fuck it. If you feel it in here, if you're being called to do a working on a Wednesday with a purple candle on a dark moon when the spell calls for a white candle on a Tuesday with a full moon, but your body is saying do this, then do what your soul is telling you to do. You know, you really got to take, I know a lot of witches today you've got to take a lot of the information that you get, a lot of the overwhelming information that you get, and be brave enough to pick and choose. Does this call to me? Oh, let's go here and research this. And after I research it, if it doesn't work for me, or if it's something and it doesn't, then I file it away and I go on to another one. You know, I guess my ultimate feeling is, if it brings you joy, if whatever you are doing or reading brings you joy, then keep going. If it doesn't, put the book away and go find something else. That's just my take on it. So I'm done rambling. I love you all. Everybody have a great day. Bye, guys.